How did you find the last 2 years at all, Sean? Just as you as an individual living, how did you find this whole thing affected you? This whole Corona thing?
I think it was very, very confusing. Your little pattern of life which you need was totally upside down and inside out, and really people that you'd like to say hello to were sort of backing away, and you felt very, very conscious of that, because I'm a people's person. No matter what, I am a people's person. I love going into my local pub and chatting to anybody that's, and if they have a problem, if I could do anything, I certainly would do it, and no bother. And I thought all that was gone, and I missed that. I really missed that connection to people. On the other hand, I am a survivor, and I have 3 dogs. I used to look after ponies and any animal that was get a home for or whatever. But all I had at the time was 3 dogs, and only for the 3 dogs I would be in a worse state than I would be normally. I would have been, really, because I had to look after my dogs, look after the wild birds. I have all wild birds that come in and out, and feed the crows, and that's a part of me that's very important. And the little things in life are important to me. And having to get up and put on the fire, or just get going in some sort of sensible way, and take the dogs out for a walk. I was down in people asking me. I was down in the down near the fountain in Taghmon there in the village, and people were coming over and asking me, staying away of course, but saying how am I and this and that, and I was telling about the food. It's so important. If we didn't have food, then we'd be really got a problem. And they then saw the other side of things, that we can be without things, but certainly we cannot be without food, Our pub is important, and that's an escapism situation, but food is the necessary thing of life. And I was saying to one man down there, I said, okay, what I do is most days is I take the dogs out. This is to him. I take the dogs out for a walk, and we go for a long walk. We come back and we eat. Then after a while, the boredom sets in. You take the dogs out again. You come back and you eat. And I was explaining this to him. And then in the evening time, before you hit the lava, he said, you take the dogs out, then you eat. I said, there's a lot of eating. Thank God we have food. And the dogs are getting bored because they're looking at you after a while, so it's just life.
How did you find your first lockdown?
I found it very, very tough. I found it tough. It was very, very tough. It was really stopping you doing natural things that you would like to do, and that you would normally do. I found that very tough.
Did you miss people, Sean?
Oh, very much so, yeah. Very much so, yeah. I tell you, I have friends that I used to look after their animals. I used to ring them, and at Christmas time I'd always go over a Santa hat on my bicycle and give her presents and share just time with them, and that was gone. And my other neighbour, I'd go over and have a chat with them, and we'd have a drink together, and that was all gone. That was gone. And I really missed that. That was the contact that I needed just to get through Christmas, because Christmas is a bad time. I find it difficult.
Yeah. And you say you like to go to the pub to meet people, to have a drink?
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. watch a horse race and have a drink. GA, I'm a GA man, rugby man, you know, and and that was didn't happen. So I missed.
Did you have a drink at home?
No, I wouldn't drink at home. No. I would be worried about that, getting too used to it, and no, I wouldn't enjoy it. It's going in from your home to your pub, and there's a lovely thing when you hear the door open. There's a couple of heads around, you know. Somebody that you'd have a chat with, and you could give out to or moan at her, or say something, or you know, whatever. And there's the freedom of doing that was gone, you know, and the company was gone. And I don't have TV, and I didn't have any GA. Of course, all the matches were sort of had problems because of nobody able to go to the games. Now we have a rugby match on Saturday. I can't wait to get into Maggie Mays in town. I'll meet a couple of rugby heads in there, and the Welsh will be over and I'm looking forward to that. That will make spring. Yeah, and I'm going to get some plants. I'm planting them outside, and I've got it all the front shuttered, but I'm going to paint up the piers and celebrate life and put plants outside in colour. Just to say thank you, we're okay, we're here. Yeah, the last time I would know sort of a lot of the Welsh crowd that come over to Maggie Mays for the crack. And it's 2 years, God, it's over 2 years, yeah, my God. I'm looking forward to hear them singing. Yeah.
What did you do to keep yourself busy?
I paint horseshoes and I create things. And I got, I should tell you this. I got a bit of work, I saved some money and I got a bit of work done on the roof, which is badly needed. It's over 100 years, so it needed a bit of work. And I got a door frame in and restored an old door. I put an old stained glass piece in the door. So that was very important to me, that I'd done something creative for the cottage. Being that old, I wanted to do that in any way because I really have great respect for you know, the village and people here, you know, I really do, genuinely. And I'm a blow-in, but I wanted to make the college smile. You know, in a sort of, my father was a military man, and he said, if you have any problem, he said, always hire I was only small, he said, always hire the flag. Loved it so much. And that he was from Kilkenny, Callan in Kilkenny, GA man out and out, and so all that's very, very important to me, but I always remember those words, always hire the flag when you've got a problem, or hire your flag.
And at that kind of time, do you think you would have fixed up your roof? Do you think you would have fixed up the door if you had been carrying out, if COVID wouldn't have happened?
Oh, I would have, I would have, I would have needed it, like, you know, but I think COVID certainly got the my finger out, as you would say. It was good to meet people. Say, well, I got the roof done, you know, and I got a new door frame, and you want to see the door now, it's all mad colours, you know, and I got this, you know. So in that respect, you could brag about it, not brag about, but you know, it was something that you achieved, and there didn't seem any possibility of achieving very much. You know, there was no, what else could you achieve but your surroundings. I think that was very important. You know, I created a couple of things and I gave them as gifts to people, and they really liked it.
What did you create?
I created. Oh, I'll show you. I have one left at home. It's for a friend of mine. She's animal welfare, and I haven't seen her for quite a while. With everything, I haven't seen her, it's simple. I can show it to you someday.
Is it an art piece or a sculpture piece?
It's just a wee thing I call it Wexford Keys, and it's a horseshoe with a couple of hooks on it, and a painting of a galloping horse. The horse is actually pewter, and I painted on the bottom of the horse where the look is. I painted mountains and colours, and in a very small. I paint like into a matchbox. On the bottom of a horseshoe. I know it sounds silly, but
no, it's not silly. No, I see. Well, it's interesting that art was a great, a bit of a tool or a space for you to go to.
It's a saviour, yeah, very much so, yeah.
One thing that's striking as well, you've got 3 dogs.
Yeah.
I'd say you would have been lost without them.
Oh, very much so, yeah. I have Boomerang, she's getting on. Boomerang, she's collie sheepdog, and Dove. I was going to call him Jarg, but I call him Dove because he's so black and he's a bit of a nutter. Oh, he's a great character, and I've got Rebel, and Rebel is the warrior. Oh, fabulous dog. They're all very much unwanteds. Well, I don't mean unwanted. They are very much wanted, but I think in life, if you can't look after unwanteds, I think you haven't lived really, you know.
Yeah, the animals kept you busy, the dogs.
Yeah.
Was there any time at all where it felt completely trapped, or you felt?
I did. I. If you think an awful lot, you're going to trap yourself in any way. But I felt very conscious of not being able to do what really you need to do. You felt sort of, the voice. The voice is closing on you. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that feeling at all. But the great thing, excuse me, I beg your pardon. The great thing is that the girls in the shop kept everything going. In the shop just down the road, and they were so good, and there was no big deal. They had a bit of cooked food if you're not a great cook, and little things like that, and your milk and your bread, the delivery. Your bread was being delivered, and I thought about that an awful lot. That we are so lucky.
You don't have a television at home?
No.
You don't have a smartphone?
No.
The rest of us were tuning in every 5 minutes listening to the news.
The radio, oh God, yeah, and that was.
Did that frighten?
It was upsetting actually after a while because it was continuous. The amount of people that had got COVID, the amount of people that died, a lot of people were dying at the early stages, people were passing away. And then the heartbreak thing of the people, when the media is going to cover this because it's media stuff, but people waving to their families in nursing home and all that. I mean, that's just...
But you didn't have any visual stuff, you didn't have...
I wouldn't, thank God I didn't, because I believe there's awful things happening in Spain, and, they were... I just...
You got all your information, all your news from the radio?
Only radio, yeah. But I heard stories that if I rang people, they would say, but you don't have a TV, and I said no. I said, you want to see some of the burials? they were, I think it was in Spain they were speaking about, if I'm correct there, and it just seemed so sad, just so sad, you know, it just, but life is can be tough, you know, and
would you tune into the radio very often?
I'd have the radio on all the time.
All the time.
All the time, yeah.
So that news lived with you for those 2 years?
Right through the night, yeah. Oh, right, I don't switch off the radio. I switch off when I'm leaving the cottage, but when I come home, the radio goes on, you know. I like to be updated with news, and I just, without the news, there's something to focus on, you know. When you have your radio on, you can hear other people communicate. I mean, I'm on my own, and so the communication level from the radio is very important to me, you know. I know actually in town, people have got walking around with dogs that never had dogs before, and people are cycling that never possibly cycled. I used to race bikes, and I'm smiling. I made up a story that I was in the book centre and they were saying, "How are you?" And I said, "I'm grand." And I said, I've got this idea for a story, short story. And I said, "What is it?" And I said, "There's going to be an awful lot of bikes and then an awful lot of dogs, and I hope they're looked after. And maybe they will not be wanted, you know, and I hope that's not the way, but I think why do we take up things when it's really necessary? We should be doing it in the first place, you know. You know what I mean? Going out for your walks in the evening, going for your walks in the morning, I think that should have been done in any way. If you have somebody that you love and care for, if you have a dog that you care for, or an animal that you care for, you should look after, and that's your enjoyment to give to the animal, and the animal will give you the enjoyment, you know. But I have a feeling that somebody said that there's an awful lot of them just being dumped, and I said, oh my God, that to me is wrong, you know. But that's not learning from a situation. It's taking away again from the situation and make it worse. You know, if you're getting a dog just for company, and then everything sort of comes back to your normality, and your little dog is pushed away, or your bicycle is just left there, and you know, I don't see the sense in that. You know.
One thing, in the time that you didn't go to the pub, what did you replace that time with?
That's a very good question. I didn't do, to be honest with you, I didn't do an awful lot. I did like going into town. I loved walking into town and just going down along the quay there and seeing the fishing boats, going across the bridge, the far side of the bridge, and just looking over and watching everything. And I'm an awful man for saying hello to people, but I don't think really people wanted my hello anymore. Everybody was very sort of, you know, there was a lot of people that really wanted an hello, you know, but there was people stand off you. And I go to Pettit supermarket. I find it's a grand little supermarket in just opposite the fishing, where the fishing boats are. Pettit's Super Value, is it? And I just have a chat in there with the people and just say well done. And I went up to the Friary a few times. The Friary, I just love it there. It's a work of art to me, and there's a sort of peace there. And I'm not religious really. I am a very simple person. I'm very simple because I enjoy life in its own way. I don't need an awful lot in my life, you know. I enjoy just being out there and somewhere, you know. And I didn't break any things. I probably did walk around town quite a bit, and you could have coffee outside. you know, you're not allowed to go inside. That's fine. I like being outside anyway, and that's really basic, yeah. And the pub's open for a while. I used to go into a lovely pub in town, and they'd sit away. They'd give me a table, but you found that you were getting more isolated. You know, I get a pint of Heineken, and you had to have to have a meal. I would get a meal. Remember, I think you had to have a meal and have a couple of pints, and I think I'd only a certain time, I'd have 2 or 3 pints, and then head off. You know. But it was still lonely because you saw couples coming in and going, families coming and going, and you were there on your own with a table, and that was a little bit. You felt a little bit isolated, big time, you know.
How do you find it now?
How do I find it now?
Yeah, has there been a weight lifted off your shoulder with the new restrictions being lifted? What's your sense of things now? Have you went for a pint of late?
Oh yes, yeah. I've been in Maggie Mays, and watched some horse racing. And there's crowds of people. When the place gets too packed, I'm gone, because I don't want that. I don't want to get that virus at the minute. But I more than likely won't get it now. I'm fairly healthy, and I think we'll slip back into our normality, because it's our right to do it as well, because it's our enjoyment, you know. And I believe in living life. I think you've got to live life to your utmost and go at it and take it on the chin. If something bad happens, take it on the chin, you know. What else can you do? You know, you always hear from the older ones, and I'm getting older now, that, you know, life is short, and by God it is short, you know, and that is so true. And take it on board, eat well, exercise yourself, and that's a normality. That should have been done in any way. I feel really sorry for people that have lost people, and that were very close. It seems to happen in my life quite a lot. Love you all. And but we're here, and enjoy it, and don't take everything too personal, you know. Just, you know, because if you take it all personal, I think it's gonna strangle you, you know. Just go out and do it and enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to Saturday, the rugby. That's very much so. I think that's going to be a special day. Yeah. Ireland and Wales, first international. It's a good start of the spring and the new year. You know, it'll be an enjoyable day, and if I have any money in my pocket, I'll buy them an old jar, and we'll have a scoop or two or maybe more. But more than likely be more with these lads. They're not bothering them, and we'll go at it, and then we'll listen to the Welsh sing, win or lose. We'll take it, you know. And I think that's Shin Scaila.
Thanks a million, Sean.